1,000 years ago, far away in the village of Vel, there lived a traditional healer named Gonding. Gonding was gifted in curing all diseases and barrenness. This man was so powerful that he could hear the gossips of the wind, peep into tomorrow, and see spirits. He could also interfere in their affairs. One day, he went into the forest to get some herbs for a woman who was attacked by a mad dog. He woke up too early that day that he forgot to peep and see what the day and even the next had in store for him. On his way, he saw a good and bad spirit arguing about something. Of course, he knew that the bad spirit was at wrong, and he knew he should have minded his business. But Gonding was a good man who would never see wrong and keep his mouth shut. And so, he interfered in the affairs of the spirits by calling out the bad spirit, and that gave the good spirit the day. The bad spirit accepted defeat, but in his usual ways, he secretly swore to teach the traditional healer a bitter lesson he would never forget. Next time, he will remember that he is a man and should never interfere in the affairs of the spirits, the bad spirit thought. First, I will corrupt his hands so that all the herbs he uses will no longer be useful to him. Next, he will no longer see into tomorrow or the spirit world, and he will no longer hear the gossip of the wind, the bad spirit added. The healer continued on his way, and deep into the forest, he met a very beautiful and loving woman that was kept there for him as a wife by the good spirit, because he helped him win the fierce argument against the bad spirit. Excited about finding a great wife, he named her Butrit, which means belly of goodness. The traditional healer rushed to get the necessary herbs, and then he took Butrit back to the village to celebrate with merriment and festivities. For days, he tried curing the woman attacked by the mad dog, but all efforts failed and she died. Stories went round that a mad dog had defeated the wise and great traditional healer. Next, a snake bit a child and he was brought to Gonding, but yet again, he was unable to cure him until he died. More people came with different ailments, but all died, even those that came with flimsy diseases. Now the story went round that he had given all his powers to evil spirits in the forest, and that was where his wife came from, and that was why all his patients would keep dying. Because he could no longer see spirits, there was no way for him to converse with them and plead his case. And because he could no longer hear the whispers of the wind, there was no way he could learn his way out of his many problems. Soon, everyone avoided him and his wife like a plague. They lived secluded from everyone else, and all, including children, despised them and made fun of them. Many seasons had passed, but Gonding and his wife still had no children. However, because they didn't stop being good even when everyone was bad to them, the gods made Butrit pregnant. 12 months had passed, but no child came from her. The child was prevented from coming to the world because the bad spirit was lurking around so that when the child started living on earth, he would kill him because he knew the child would become a great healer just like his father. He would also be able to peep into tomorrow, hear the gossips of the wind, see spirits, and converse with them. The bad spirit knew that Gonding's heir would also take side with the good spirit in a dispute between the good and bad spirits. Soon, Butrit became very tired of her pregnancy, and for the first time ever, she decided to go to the same spot where she was kept by the good spirit for Gonding, and she waited until the good spirit came around to take some air. "What have I done to deserve this treatment?" Butrit asked the spirit. "All my husband did was defend you, and you have allowed all these bad things come to him, and now I am also suffering because of that." The good spirit felt sorry for them, but he could not undo what the bad spirit had done. So he said to Butrit, "If your child is born, the bad spirit will cause him to die. So because your belly is a safe haven for him, You will give birth to your child when you want to rest or when you need help. After you must have rested or he has offered the help, your child must go back to your womb and keep growing there. Buthrit agreed, and she named her child Lechini, which means the one who is born today. Just as the good spirit said, Lechini always came out to help his parents and allow his mother get some rest before going back into his mother's womb. He continued to grow into a very wise, kind, and handsome young man who would solve any riddle with both men and spirits. He could see tomorrow, hear the wind, and see spirits. Soon, he became the eyes of his old father, and he could now help him cure all diseases. That was how Gonding got back his lost glory, and people came to revere him as of old. Everyone came to love Lechini, but he could never stay on earth because the bad spirit was still trying to kill him. One day, a sick person on the verge of dying was brought to Gonding, and from the womb, Lechini offered to be born so that he could go into the thick forest and get the necessary herbs to cure the person. Deep in the forest, he heard the cry of a child in the bushes, and when he checked, Lechini realized it was the son of the bad spirit that was trapped. His first instinct was to run home, believing that it was an ambush. But as he moved away, his kind nature of helping everybody, including the good and bad, took a better of him. Lechini returned and freed the bad spirit's child, who ran home and told his father of Lechini's kindness towards him and how the traditional healer's son saved him. In gratitude for saving the life of his favorite little child, the bad spirit repented of the evil he had done to Lechini's family, and he took off all the curses he placed on Gonding. On that day, Buthrit gave birth to Lechini for the last time, and she named him Imbilamut, which means the one who amazes you all. Gonding lived many years with Buthrit happily, and Imbilamut grew into a fine man, far greater than his father. If you enjoyed our story, do well to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to press the notification button for more exciting stories.